Hello, this is Tony Blazer back on the video for the Motocross Vault, and what this one's going to be is a quick rundown of the 5 questions I have going into the third round of the 2020 Monster Energy Supercross Series. The first 2 rounds have been very exciting, great outcomes if you're looking for kind of some surprises. You had the Barcia winning the first round, Kenny winning the second. Maybe that wasn't too much of a surprise, but I think after 2 years of trying and not having it happen, almost 3, you had to consider that maybe a little bit surprising. I was super happy for Kenny last week. I'm curious to see what happens this weekend. I'm hoping for another great race. But these are the 5 questions I have going into round 3.
Number 1.
My first question going into the third round of the Supercross Series, can Kenny do it again? I think this one's pretty much a no-brainer. Everybody who's been watching the sport has been waiting for Kenny to finally pull through. The fact that he finally got that win was really a heartwarming deal. Again, I was super happy for him, as many people were. I'm curious to see if he can keep doing what he did last week. He got a great start, made an aggressive pass, got up front, checked out on the field. Considering he hasn't done it in 3 years, I would be surprised if he could back it up with 2 in a row, but maybe it was just a situation where maybe he just needed a little confidence. I mean, Kenny had won some outdoor races last year, but his illness kept, kind of getting flared up again and giving him some problems. I'm curious to see if that's maybe all in the rearview mirror at this point. And the new Ken Roczen is the guy we've been thinking we were going to get to see the last 5 or 6 years in Supercross. I will be curious to see if he's able to keep it going for this third round. I would love to see him up front. I don't want to see anybody run away with this. I hope it's a good fight. I'm a huge Cooper Webb fan too, and in order for him to stay relevant in the series, if he needs all these guys to keep mixing it up front until he gets his health better. So, in any case, my big question for number 1 would be, can he do it again?
Number 2.
My second question for the third round is, what is the status of the health of Barcia and Webb? Barcia pulled out a second last week, which was, I think, really impressive in light of the fact that he appeared to be very ill. Cooper Webb was apparently even more sick than he was at the first round. Maybe it was the fact that it was inside a dome and it was a little bit warm in there, or whatever reason, it seemed to impact him a little more. He certainly wasn't able to get anywhere near the kind of results he had the week before. I think he got a 12th, which was obviously very concerning. If you're the Supercross champion, you want to repeat. It's a long series, who knows, but if he's going to have a shot at this, he needs to get better pretty quickly. Barcia, as I said, was very impressive. He's still holding the red plate. Ended up having a excellent night, getting that second. I think he's, 4 or 5 points still in the lead. So if he can continue it going, awesome. But if he's sick like Cooper Webb was last week and he ends up getting worse, that could be a serious problem. I always have my questions about Barcia anyway, because he's shown that he's not always the most consistent rider. So I'd love to see him continue to be at the front, put pressure on these guys, make the series interesting. Barcia winning, I think, would be maybe the most out of nowhere title win in history. I don't think, maybe if Davey Millsaps had captured it back in 13, I guess, whenever it was that he was up front for the longest time, that probably would have been the most surprising. But I don't think anybody would have picked Justin to win this title. So the fact that he's up front early, he did the same thing last year, so that's not surprising. The fact that he kept it 2 in a row is great. 3 in a row, I hope he gets a podium again this week. That would be very exciting for him. But I have real concerns about the health, with the flu thing or whatever's going on. You heard some reports that maybe Cooper Webb maybe has some kind of a chest infection. I got pneumonia, 3 years ago, and it's brutal. I can't imagine going out there and riding a motocross bike with a 180 beats per minute heart rate with not able to breathe. Got to really hinder your ability to go fast. So my second question for this week is, just how healthy are Barcia and Webb?
Number 3.
For my third question for the third round, is Adam Cirillo ready to win? He was the fastest guy the last couple of weeks in practice. Certainly showed a ton of speed. Last week, I think maybe he got a little excited, over-anxious early in the main, made that kind of aggressive pass on Zach Osborne that kind of backfired on him when Zach basically parked him a corner or two later. And then after that, looked like he had 4th place in the bag and took a digger on the last lap with a couple of turns to go. I didn't see the crash. They didn't show it on TV, and I didn't see it anywhere on social media. I don't know if it was big, small, whatever, but it doesn't sound like he's hurt. So I hope that he got his nerves out of the way, got kind of the rookie mistakes out of the way. and he's ready to finally put it together. Adam is an awesome kid. I want to see him win. I'd love to see him come out here and win this as a rookie. I'd be super psyched. I mean, as I've said in the past, I'm really just rooting for a good race. I just want to see a great battle at the front. There are some guys I like more than others, but again, it's not. I don't really have too much of a dog in the fight. I just want to see a great race. And Adam is a cool kid, great story. And I really, really would love to see him at least win a couple of races, even if he's not going to win the title. He's certainly still in it. I think he's still tied for third. So if he had had that fourth, he might have ended up in second, actually, in the series point standings at this point. But in any case, Adam was really, really competitive as far as speed goes. And hopefully at A2, he'll be able to show that again. Even if he doesn't get first in practice, it's much more important how you actually race on the track. So hopefully he can translate that speed into another great win, or another great finish like he did at A1.
Number 4.
My fourth question for A2: which Eli Tomac will we see? I think until I see Eli come out and smoke these guys, I'm probably going to ask this question every week. Eli is very up and down. Now, I will say that round 2 was much, much better than round 1. He got a bad start. He came from like 17th or 18th back to 4th, although in fairness, Adam did kind of give him that last position. He probably should have got a 5th, but that being said, Eli definitely was moving forward. He wasn't fading. He wasn't, getting arm pump and locking up. For the little bit of time they showed him on screen, it still didn't look to me, at least, like he was the same kind of crazy balls out speed guy. It was more like he had a methodical race where he's kind of picking these guys off. In fairness, everybody is very fast, but there have been times when Eli's just been the elite of the elite and just like cutting through these guys like a knife through butter, kind of like McGrath used to, or RC, or Stu. In the old days, Chad gets a bad start and he's in third in a half a lap or a lap or two. It's these guys would just go mow through them, and Eli's capable of those rides. I haven't seen it so far this year. I don't know whether that's a matter of just the bad starts or the deep field, hashtag deep field, or it's a matter of, Eli maybe still trying to sort the bike out. I'm not sure. I think the Kawasaki, certainly, if you look at how he finished and how Adam's been riding, is capable of winning. I'm just waiting for that breakout Tomac ride. He's been, I don't know, pretty meh so far, in my opinion. I think a lot of people thought Eli would come out and kill everybody this year, but again, he's somewhat enigmatic in that, and you don't know what you're going to get. So I'm curious to see if this is finally the week that we're going to get a breakout Eli Tomac ride.
Number 5.
All right, my fifth question for A2: who in the 250 class is going to take control of this championship? So far, we've got win by Justin Cooper, which I didn't see coming, and one by Austin Forkner that I think a lot of people would have predicted. Last week, Ferrandis had a bad race, got taken out in the start. He certainly had a lot of speed the first round, but second round, complete disaster. I think he got a 12th, if I remember right. So I'm curious to see if this is going to shake out that Justin Cooper just stays consistent, keeps keeping that red plate, stays up front. If Forkner's going to go on like a tear here, if he's going to end up cranking off a couple of wins and get right back in the points lead, or if Ferrandis is finally going to wake up and have a couple of good races in a row. So far, the 250 class has been pretty exciting. Jet Lawrence looked super fast last week. I thought for a little while he was going to run Forkner down. Super impressive for a 16-year-old kid. So always love the 250 class. Been real exciting so far. I am curious, though, if how long it's going to take before somebody asserts himself as the guy, or if it's just going to be a round week to week thing where you get a new racer winning every week. That would be exciting too, certainly. But typically that's not the way it works out. Usually you have one guy kind of asserts himself. So Forkner was back on top this last week. Cooper was very solid in second. I'm curious to see what happens this weekend. The track looks pretty good too. It's looked like a pretty interesting track layout, couple of long loop sections, good rhythm sections. I'm curious to see how the track's going to lay out, or how it's going to break up too. I know at A1 it was rougher than people expected. Typically, Anaheim in the past has always been like slippery and hard, and really you weren't going to get as rough as you might expect because the ground was pretty hard, but maybe they watered it. I'm not sure what the local weather was like there, why it ended up shaping up like that. So I'll be curious to see how the track shows up this weekend, and if it forms up in the same way, if it impacts the racing. Like I said, Kenny and some guys that had some problems with bike setup in round one, and I'll be curious to see if they go completely different direction for A2, or if they try to set it up thinking it will shape up like it did the first time. So should make the racing interesting this weekend. I hope for another great race. Any race where we have some good battling at the front is a great race. Win, lose, or draw, whoever wins. Like I said, I'm in it for the racing, so I'm hoping we have another great weekend of excitement. If you like this thing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give me a like, a little share. If you want to support the channel, Motocross Vault merchandise is available at Teespring. The link is in the description below. And until we meet again, this is Tony Blazer for the Motocross Vault. Peace.